Hello and welcome to Hollyberry Colors. I'm Holly. I'm real happy to have you here. And today it's not really going to be a new video, it's just my version. I'll explain. So there's 1,000 of these videos out there, but I want to throw my 2 cents into the pot. Hopefully to, my goal and hopes are to uh, make this particular subject a little easier for people. And that's gold, specifically coloring gold. And Mercury's going crazy, by the way, so if you hear random crashes in the background, that's what that is. So, yeah, metals, I've noticed, tend to scare some people. Understandably, they're a little, they look challenging to color. And I wanted to go through some examples with you. And I'm not going to do all the metals. I am not myself very familiar with copper, for example. And I've only colored silver once that I remember. I'll show that to you in this video, and you can basically follow the same concepts. So this isn't really a color palette video for golds, although I'll show you 2 different versions that I like to use specifically, and we'll just go from there. Mercury. Quit eating the couch. Okay, sorry, Mercury distracted me. Anyways, so when I color gold, um, I'm going to be using Prismacolor specifically, but I will go through my polychromos and I will list similar polychromos colors that you can use. Hey y'all, editing Holly here. I was only able to find good polychromos examples for the one of the golds, the new or the shiny gold, I call it. So you'll see what I'm talking about, but there won't be any for the other gold. I'm sorry. Since those are the main two pencil sets that people tend to use. So that's what I'm going to go with. But I'm only going to color with Prismas just because of time constraints. So there's that. And so there's 2 golds that I like to use, first of all. I call them new gold and old gold. Oh my wordy cray cray. Okay. And here's the colors that I like to use. This is for new gold. So I only really primarily use 4 colors. I do use white also. I don't count that because it's like salt and pepper in a recipe. You need to have this at all times. Okay. If you don't have a white pencil, you need to be getting a white pencil. Just end of story. And then I have this here. I don't know if I'll use it, but I tend to not like to go super dark on my gold. So I'll just put this up here to the side. We might use her, we might not. We'll see. So let's do the new gold. We'll just do a quick little swatch here. And again, I will show you on some coloring pages. But I like to use sienna brown. And I always start with the darkest color on gold. And here, let me zoom it. Let me zoom us in. There we go. Then I use goldenrod. And for gold, I always layer. So that means I'm going over the previous color. So I put down my darkest color, now I'm going over it with goldenrod. And I'm feathering off my pressure so it's a little bit lighter over here. Then I take yellow ochre, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to color over the darkest color, over the goldenrod, and just feather it out a little more. So you can do like a medium pressure, like this. You don't want to do no, 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 don't do that. And this is really too light. So you want like a medium pressure is what I call it. And then sometimes I'll only do these 3 colors. This is just a great base gold right here. And then if I want it to be super bright and yellow, I will also throw in deco yellow. And again, you just go over everything. So you get this little bright pop of yellow right here. And what happens is when you layer like this, it brightens up your darkest color. So originally it was this dark, and after layering, it lightens it up. So I know this looks like a hot mess, but when you see it on a coloring page, it looks a lot better. This is just for swatching purposes to show you the colors that I like to use. So here's your basic gold, basic shiny new gold. I'll put the colors right here. So feel free to screenshot right here and get your colors down for Prismas. And I'll list polychromos also. And then again, I forgot the white. It's really hard to show here, but you can tack in white on the end to get a highlight. So anyways, that's my new gold. And then I don't really use this much. This is dark brown, but we'll try it here. And I mean, that's okay. That looks nice. I don't normally like to go that dark. So yeah, I'll add all the colors again one more time. Dark brown is optional, or some people use black if you want to add in a darker color at the end, just to get your contrast a little better. So there's the new shiny gold, and the old gold, the whatever. I also only like to use 3 to 4 colors. So if you have Color with Claire's family chart, these are already pretty much in order for you. So we have sandbar brown, so I'm just going to do the same technique, different colors. Then we're going to go to green ochre, and I know this does not look very gold yet, but it will. Then we're going to use artichoke. And this is really where this comes through. I don't know, this might be, I don't know my metals, guys. I'm so ignorant. Brass, I don't know. It's just some kind of old greenish gold kind of vibe here. And then for, you could stop here, or if you wanted, you could add some artichoke in for highlights. So there we go. This is what I call old gold. So you can see the difference. You can really change up the vibe of your gold objects in your page that you're working on. So, and here's the color list for the old gold. I'll just stick it right over here so that you can screenshot. All right. And then I was going to show you some examples in coloring pages. So very simple color palettes here. Nothing too crazy. So let me show you the silver first while I'm thinking about it. And the thing with metal is it's very intimidating for people because they want to color it correctly. But I mean, it doesn't really matter to me. So that said, I did use a reference for this. So I looked up a light bulb or light bulb illustrations, a light bulb, something like that. So I found a picture that was very similar, and then I was able to use that to color this. So that's an option for gold. You can always look up a reference, and I highly recommend that most of the time. So using a reference is an option. Another option for gold is to just wing it. You know, there's really no wrong way to do it. Most of the time there's no specific picture of an object you're coloring. out there on the internet. So, I mean, this for example is gold. Is it right or wrong? I don't know, but I'm happy with it. And I was going to show you this page I'm currently working on. I'm doing some gold elements in it. So I thought we could color one or two of them. And then we will color some elements in a different kind of book, just so that we can see ways to color in different books. So some are easier, some give you shading guidelines. So I wanted to show you how I tackle those. So maybe you might get something out of it. So I'm going to zoom us in. I'm currently working on this page, and I've already started some of it. So I'll hold the book up here. So for example, here's where I've started, and I'm doing the new gold. So uh, Joseph is good about giving you shade cross hatching for, where the darker areas should be. So I will start out with the sienna brown in those areas, and that's what I've done here, and I've already colored these areas. So I thought we would just come in and finish a few little bits and pieces together so you can kind of see. So I'll zoom us in a smidge more, scooch us over. So I'm going to work right here. I've already done the brown here, but it's that same idea that we did on our swatch page. So I start with my darkest color, which was the sienna brown, and now we're going to take goldenrod, and I'm going to color directly over where the brown is, and I'm going to start extending some of those darker areas. And I'm just going to kind of follow the curves of the object. Now this is a pretty complicated one, so I feel like this is a good one to do with you guys. So I'm just kind of going over the brown and extending it out is all that I'm doing. I'm not pressing too hard, probably a medium pressure, and I'm trying to leave some lighter areas in here because I still have one or two more colors that I want to slap on here. So you also want to leave a little room for your next colors, and it's really hard to do on a tiny little area like this. So there's that. This area is a little bigger. So I'm just figuring this out in real time with you guys. I'm going to color there a little bit. And then trying to account. Usually when there's big open areas like here, I try to leave a little more space open so that I can get a little white shiny area in there, because the gold will be a little bit more reflective because there's more surface area for light to shine on it. So that's kind of the thinking on that part. Then let me just get this real fast. So there's not going to be a lot of light shining on this area. So I'm going to color a little bit more darker there because it's behind these things, whatever these are. The lantern scales, I guess you could call them. Okay, now we're going to take our third color, yellow ochre, and down here I'm going to go ahead and just color that in. And then here I want to have a little light shining here. Usually when I have a big long what's the word, bar or what, I don't know, a big long space like this right here, I like to try to do a little shiny bit in there. So what I'm going to do is take my yellow ochre. I'm going to lighten my pressure towards the center, and I'm just stopping because I want to leave a little room to do my lighter colors, and we'll have a little bit of white there for a light highlight. Okay, so there's that right there. And in fact, while we're talking about it, let's just finish that part really fast. So I've got that. Now I'm going to take my, what is this, Deco Yellow, my lightest yellow, and we're just going to come here in the center, just trying to get a little punchy yellow right there. Little punchy yellow. There. And it's a little hard to see, but it's there. It's very subtle. And you want that for your gold. You don't want any intense pockets of color, really. So there's that. And then I'm just going to take my white, and in the very center where I want that little highlight to be, I'm just pressing fairly hard there just to get that in there. So it's very subtle, but it's there. And you could even extend it out a little bit. So I'll try that there. And then sometimes I'll just keep playing with it, going back and forth until I'm happy with it. But don't stress too much on one part of this lantern because it's massive and you don't want to get caught up on one tiny little part that most people probably are not going to even pay much attention to. Like, this is not the focus of the page. So there, that's good enough. So now we're going to come back and we're going to finish this little piece up here. So we've done, remember, the sienna brown, our darkest color, then we went over with our goldenrod, and now we're going to repeat with yellow ochre. So I'm going over everything, and I keep extending out how far I'm coloring. So we're going over the sienna brown, the goldenrod, extending out a little bit, leaving a little white area. I'm going to do the same here. There we go. Gonna come down here, leave a little white right there. Okay. So there's that. I'm going to leave a little whiteness right there because that's where a little highlight's going to be. And right here, you got to just think about your curves. So this is curvy, so I want to highlight right here. So I'm going to take my yellow ochre, kind of go on both sides there, leave the middle part open. There's not really going to be, at least on mine, a lot of highlight right here, so we're just going to fill all that in. Color that in. I'm going to come down here. There. And we'll just stop right there. Leave a little white there. So we just need to get this little part. There we go. All right. So there's that with the yellow ochre. Now we need to do the Deco Yellow. Or we don't need to. If you want to stop there, that's fine. You would just completely color all of this in with the yellow ochre if you're happy with that. But I want a teensy little bit of that yellow to pop through. So I'm just coming in with the Deco Yellow, but I'm still trying to leave just a smidge of white. Not a lot. I just want to be able to come in with my white Prisma and further accentuate those little white glares. So there's that. Get right here and here. All right. So before I get to the white, there should be yellow there. I do want to fix this. This is not dark enough for me right here. So I'm going to take my sienna brown. Woo! Just kind of darken that up. And then I'm going to try to blend it out with my yellow ochre. There. Okay. Alright. Now that I'm focused back again, we can finish with our white. So we're just going to, and sometimes you might need to make sure your white's pretty sharp so that you can get some crisp little reflection lines in here. And then we'll do one here, and then one down here. Oh yeah, and up here. So those are a little bit, it's a lot of just going back and forth until you get it where you want it to be. So the white's a little harsh for me. So I'm actually going to take the yellow ochre and we're just going to kind of blend that back in a little bit. I want to make it a little less prominent for the white. There we go. Like I want you to still see it, but I don't want there to be as much. So there. Alright, I'm happy with that. And then the last step really is to just kind of adjust anything that might need attention. So for example, I would like this to be a little bit darker. So I'm just using light pressure to darken that up a little bit. And then I'm going to take the goldenrod and just do this kind of thing. So there's that part of the lantern. And then we can finish this little bob down here. So hold on, I need a sip of water. Okay. So again, I've already started the darkest part. I've already put in my sienna brown. So we'll just take the goldenrod and we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to go over the sienna brown, extend this up a little bit. I'm going to stop there. I'm going to put a little bit of this down here. I'm assuming that this thing right here is a highlight, so I want my lightest colors to be up top there. And then I'm going to do that here. These are like the hardest parts. So there's shadow down here. This should be dark. And then I'll leave a little space there for my lighter colors. I want this to be dark. I'm going to make a highlight right there. We'll do this. This feels right to me. Okay, then I'm going to come over here. Always do the easy parts first. So just start where you already have your shading lines from the illustrator, if they give them to you. Start there. They're trying to help you out, so take full advantage of it. Okay, this is all underneath here, so this needs to just be dark. We'll do a little highlight through here There's a darker area we can do. And then I'm going to do darker here because I'm trying to just think about the shape of the lantern. So it feels to me like this is a little bit, this is behind this. So in fact what I might do is come back in here with my sienna brown and just darken that up a little bit. Okay, and we'll play with that some more. Back to the goldenrod. I'm going to come up here and get this part. And then come down here. Make sure our light area is on the top here. So color down here. Alright. So that's it for goldenrod on this little section. Now we're going to take our yellow ochre. We'll just start up here at the top. Just gonna do that. Come here. Leave a little bit of space for some yellow to poke through. Coloring over all of our previous areas. Oops. Making sure to leave a little space for our next color. But again, these are your main three colors. So this is what you want to have the most of when you're coloring gold for this combination. The white and the deco yellow are pretty much accent colors. Unless you want crazy bright fake gold. You know that little plastic fake gold color? Yep. So there's that. Alright, now we're ready for the deco yellow. And in fact, I'm just going to color all that in there. There's that. Let's get down here. And gold is a lot easier to color anyways on larger areas. So I'm leaving, you can barely see it, but I'm leaving a little tiny area of white right there. Like you can barely see it, but it gives me enough space to get some white in there. So I'll leave a little there. I'm going to leave a little bit here. And then a little smidge there. There, yep. And yeah, burnishing with the deco yellow really just brightens it up. So I'm going to sharpen my white really fast over here with my little hand sharpener, and then we'll do the white details. Okay, so I'm just going to come, just going to come right there, right there. Get just a little bit right there. 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 So yeah, we're just playing around here. Just doing whatever feels right. Don't really care if it's wrong. It's what I want to do. And I like it. So I'm taking my deco yellow and just kind of blending that back out a little bit. I want this a smidge darker up here. So I'm going to take the sienna brown and using the lightest pressure, I'm just trying to add a little touch of it there. There we go. Then I'll take the yellow ochre and kind of blend that out. So there we go. Another very simple little area. I'll darken these a smidge with my sienna brown. And there we go. Nothing to it. So there we go. There's some gold areas. I would consider this more complicated. This is on the more complicated side. It's very detailed, little areas to color, but they're very gracious and they give you lots of the shadows and whatnot. So there's one example for coloring gold. And let me find my other one. I wanted to show you an example in a more simple book, A Million Hugs and Kisses. And I kind of had a page picked out, I kind of didn't. I was trying to find something with a large golden area. I think it was this one, but hold on, let me just double check that. I want to color this one, but I want it to be silver. So I think I'm going to, yeah, we're just going to do this. So I already have a vision for this page. So we'll just have some fun playing with the gold. So you notice that this book is a lot more simple in design. Lulu doesn't give you any information on where shadows should go, what to do, and this can be actually even harder than a mythographic or a Kirby book or, things like that. So let me show you how I would tackle this, and hopefully it helps. So I'm going to color, by the way. This part up here, I'm going to color this thing and this down here. So I'll start up here at the top. So if you ever look at a metal bowl or whatever, which I highly recommend you do, you can kind of see how light reflects off of it. I'm going to be very bad and I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to wing it. But be smarter than me and use references. Okay? I usually do, but again, I would probably need to look on my phone or something, and I just don't want to mess with it. So, anyways, so for this part up here, let me zoom us in some more. I want a little white highlight to be right here. That's kind of what I'm envisioning. And I want it to be more to this side. I want all of my highlights I want like my light to be, hold on, we're zooming back out. I'm just going to think of it as my light source is up here. So that's kind of where I'm going to pick from. And it doesn't have to be realistic, okay? That's not what I'm going for. I'm just trying to pick a light source area. So I'm going to take my darkest color and I'm just going to put a little bit over here, but I'm going to put a little more over here. Okay. Now we're going to take goldenrod, rinse and repeat. We're going to go over that sienna brown, come out a little bit, and we're going to come out even further over here. All right. Now we're going to take our yellow ochre, same thing, come out a smidge, come out even more. And I've already screwed up because I'm running out of room. That's okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my deco yellow. I'm just going to come in from this side. Oops. So I will go over this with the deco yellow, but I'm not going to extend the color out. I'm just going to stop right there. Let me see if I can zoom us in any more. Oh, it's a little blurry, but that's okay. So I have a little white spot here. So I'm going to take my white pencil. I'm just going to do this. I'm pressing pretty hard. Oop. See, I broke my pencil. That's how hard I'm pressing. Anyways, so I'm pressing pretty hard. Just trying to get that white in there. Okay. So now we're going to fix that a little bit. I'm going to take my yellow ochre. I'm just going to kind of work that back. I'll take the deco yellow, work that back in. Okay. So let me look at it. I want to blend this out a little more. Okay. Now I'm not mad at that. We just need to darken up our shadows a little bit more. So taking the sienna brown, light pressure, just trying to darken that up. Okay. All right. And that's fine. That's good. I can work with that for right now. So now we can zoom out a little bit and we'll do this part. So, same basic concept. We're going to start on the outside. I'm going to stop about there. And once you get more comfortable, you can start adding in multiple highlights. This area is not really big enough to do that, so I don't think I will at this point in time. But that was sienna brown. Now we're going to goldenrod. Let's stop about there because I want my highlight to be a little off center. And yeah, this looks like a hot mess right now, don't worry. Holly will fix it. Now we got our yellow ochre. I'm going to stop there. And then we're going to come out even further over here. So there we go. We're using mostly yellow ochre because that is our main color for this. Now we're going to take our deco yellow. And we're going to stop there. And see, now we have a nice little white highlight here. And I'm going to take my white and I'm just going to color that in and blend it out a smidge. So there's that. And again, just like up here, I want to darken my dark areas just a smidge. Again, feel free to add even more colors to make this darker. I'm just trying to show you a super easy, basic way to do gold. There. Okay, we're going to stop there with that. Now, we need to do these little bits. And let me think here. So our light is coming from this way. So we want, there's going to be shadow there. There's going to be some shadow here. So this is where you can get a little fancy. I'm going to leave a little white over here. If you don't want to do this, you do not have to do this, but we're just kind of playing. So I'm going to do that. So I've got this kind of basic shape going. I'm going to get it a little darker down here in the corners. A little darker here. And I don't know if this is right. I have no idea. I don't have a reference or anything. We're just playing and experimenting. So now I'm taking my goldenrod and I'm just kind of coloring over the brown. Doing this kind of jazz. And then I do want it to be highlighted up here. I'm just trying to think, trying to plot out my highlights and where they should go. So actually, I want to erase this a little bit. So the highlight I want there. I'm just trying to decide if I want the highlight to go across or down. Let me see, we'll just figure this out. So anyways, I know there's no highlight over here, so I'm just going to fill that in with yellow ochre. I'm doing light pressure here just to kind of map out my colors. Yeah. And then is that right? I don't know. That's okay. All right. Yeah, this area is skinnier, so there's really not a lot of room to do crazy highlights. Yep. Okay, so there's that. And then we're going to take our deco yellow and we're just going to go over everything. Now this is super bright. I don't want too much of this in here. But it is great for burnishing out your golden color. There we go. Okay. So that's actually, I want the white part to be a little less prominent. So I'm actually going to take my golden ochre and we're just going to get rid of some of the white part here. It's been a hot minute since I've colored in a Lulu book. There we go. Okay. Now I'm going to take the white and we're going to fill in the little white areas. I'm pressing pretty hard here just to make sure that my little white highlights don't get lost. There we go. Let me get my brush. I should not be using my hands. There. So now we're going to come back through and deepen all of our colors. So I've got that sienna brown. Just trying to blend it out a little more. Whoops, that's a lot more. We're just playing, guys. Don't sweat it. I don't know why that did that. There. White's a good eraser sometimes, just FYI. Okay. And then we'll take our goldenrod and repeat. Just blend out everything one more time. Okay. And finally our yellow ochre. So I don't think I'm going to add any more of the deco yellow. Don't want to mess anything up too much. Ooh. So what I'm doing here is I'm trying to just make it not a straight line. I want it to look interesting. So that's kind of the thought behind that. And I feel now that there should be a shadow down at the bottom. So, story of my life. We're just going to add that in there. So I got my darkest color. I'm just very carefully adding that in down there. And instead of adding the goldenrod, I'm going to try adding the yellow ochre first, because I don't want it to be too crazy. There we go. Now I can add even more of my sienna brown. And then I'll come back in one more time with the yellow. So again, I mean, this may not be that easy, I don't know, but just play, experiment. At least we're only using 4 colors. So there's that one. Now we need to do this part. And again, I want my highlight to be right here. So, yeah, let's just play. We'll just see what happens. So I got my darkest color. And then I'm going to stop there. I kind of want this kind of shape for the highlight. I'm going to come in with the goldenrod now. Just experiment. Okay, there's that one. Yellow ochre. So this is the part where you have to start being careful. We gotta kind of start shaping out our highlight. There. Okay. So I'm pressing a little harder over here in the darker areas just to burnish those out a little bit, but not enough where I can't layer it. And then we're going to take our deco yellow, add just a little touch of pop of yellow. Pop of yellow, not pop of yellow. There we go. Okay. Now we can take our white and we will finish off our little highlight here. So I'm just coloring, loosely following the white area that I left available. And I don't know that I like that. So I'm just going to play with it a little bit, kind of blend it out. There. Okay. Now I can start going back in and we'll do our second layer of everything just to get our colors deeper. Oh, Ryan's over dreaming and running in his dreams, so that's what that scratching noise is. Please excuse him, he's asleep and cannot help himself. Oh my word, if it's not a cat, it's a dog or a troll. It's just, there's no in between. I can't have nice things and have quiet. It's just, it's not in my cards. Okay, so that was the second coat of sienna brown. Second coat, second layer, whatever. Second layer of goldenrod. Make sure that's blended out. And then our yellow ochre. Okay. She cute. And then of course I can't leave alone. I gotta mess with this over here. Okay. So there's that. And there's that. Okay. Let's just finish this last little bit. I think I might make this a different color, these two things. I think I don't want those to be gold. I want them to be something else that I have in mind. So 1 second, guys. Okay. All right, last little bit. And this one may not have a lot of highlights because if you think about our light source here, it's up here. There's kind of leaves in the way, so there's not going to be a lot of highlights. So we definitely want that there. And then, oh, hold on, I gotta turn my heat pad on my back. I'm getting old. I hurt my back like just sitting in the chair. I don't know what happened, but I'm at that stage in life where anything is dangerous for your back. So I'm just gonna consider that there's a shadow there under the leaf. I'm just gonna consider that the leaf is blocking my light, and that's what we're doing on this side over here. Okay, so there's that. That's good for now. Just kidding. Now it's good. All right. Now we're going to take our goldenrod. Do that up here. Kind of leave that there. Okay. So there's the goldenrod part. Now I've got the yellow ochre. And this little section will probably be just these three colors. I might add a little touch of the deco yellow right in the very center, and that will be my highlight. That's kind of what I'm feeling. Get that there. Okay. Yeah, let's try that. Okay. So now I need to come back through and just clean everything up, blend everything out. Oh, sorry. Y'all probably want to see that, don't you? Okay, I've got this a little bit darker than I want it to be, but that's okay. There's that. Now I'm going to rely heavily on the goldenrod here. And probably that yellow ochre to tone this back down. Okay, yellow ochre. There we go. Oops, I just flung my pencil on the floor. Ooh, okay. All right. Now I'm a little bit mad at how that's blending. It's okay though. It's just one little tiny piece of the page, Holly. Nobody cares except for you. There. Okay, hold on. Again, obsessed. Gotta fix this. Okay. Put it down. Okay. So let's zoom out. I feel like there should be just like tiniest little bit of white there. So what I'm going to do is take my white Prisma. We're just going to smoosh some white in here. We're going to force some white in there. There. That way we have, because we don't want it to be as prominent. It's over here in the little shaded side. But we do want a little something after looking at the whole picture. I feel like it is very warranted. Okay. Now we can zoom back out and we'll see how it looks. And I think that's okay. That's good enough. So there's that. That's how to color gold in a more simple page. I mean, not how to. I'm just showing you how I would handle it. Again, no wrong way to do it. Just color, guys. So there's that. Hold on. Gotta fix this. My little brain can't stand it. Just can't stand it. I have problems. There. Oh my gosh, well, I can tinker with that later. Anyways, gold in a Lulu book. And then I wanted to show you one example of coloring the old gold, as I call it. So I thought that we could find something in here. Enchanted Relics. This is an untouched book for me, so this is the perfect excuse to start a little whip in it. So let me just find a little page that will work. Surely there's something that I can color gold in here. Old gold. I had a page in mind. I kind of want to do these little cuffs, but let me see if there's anything better. This is such a good book. Oh my gosh. I cannot believe I haven't colored in this. What's wrong with me? I need help. Love that bell. Ooh, I want to color that. I want to color everything. Ew. Cool page. Um, um, Sorry, I'm not prepared, guys. But you're getting a little sneak peek flip through. I'm trying to just see if any pages just speak to me and they're like, you have to color me right now. Ooh. Well, that one's kind of speaking to me. Ooh, actually. Alright, I think I'm really feeling this. So we'll do this one. Okay. So Veronica gives you some shading lines, but not as much as other artists like Joseph Cadenbang or Kirby Rosanis. And that's okay. But at least she gives you a few. So we're going to take, and again, this is for, let me show you. In case you need a reminder, we're going to do this one. Old gold, brass, whatever it is. So I'm going to take my darkest color, which is sandbar brown. And I'm just going to lightly map out my areas, okay? So I'm just going to follow her lines here. And we're going to have some fun with this one. We're going to do some crazy stuff. So I'm going to stop there. There should be some shadow there. It should come up a smidge. Because remember, we only basically have 3 colors to work with on this. I'm going to do that there. I'm going to make a highlight right there. There. So I'm going to come here and do that. Then we're going to repeat over here. And do that. And we'll make it lighter here in the center. And now we got to figure all this good stuff out. And if you haven't noticed, I'm one of those colorists that kind of likes to, usually I guess I kind of go back and forth, but I like to map out one color at a time on all the elements. So if I'm coloring leaves, for example, I will do the darkest shade on all my leaves. Then I'll come back and I'll do the second darkest shade. And then I'll come back and do the highlights and whatnot. So here we're just playing. There's no wrong way to do this. So we're going to have I want shading up here. Not a whole lot though, because there's going to be highlights kind of here in the middle of the pot. And then I want shading there. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to go back and darken all of this up. Not too much. Okay, so that's basically what I'm starting with for the darkest color. Then I'm going to take the second darkest, which is green ochre, and we're going to, just like with the new gold, we're just expanding out. So we're coloring over the previous color and bringing it out just a little bit. Now there's really not going to be any highlight here, so I'm definitely going to color that in with the next color. I'm just thinking out loud. But there will be highlight over here because this is more open. So I'm going to leave that there. Come over here and get this. All right. Now we're going to do this area. Get this area. Oh, and I'm going to do this very lightly, or very small area there. All right. Okay. Now we're ready to do this. Okay, we're going to extend this out. And I'm leaving a white area around here for highlights. That's going to be a lighter color. Oops, sorry guys, I got caught up in coloring. So yeah, keep working this out. Probably should feather this up here a little bit. I'm trying to think how I want the highlight to be. So I'm just going to do that. And then I feel like there, sure, why not? Okay, let's get the little feet. All right, now we're on to our main color, which is artichoke. We're going to start pressing a little harder here. Ooh! Leaving a few tiny little spots to sneak in some of that artichoke, not artichoke, ginger root. We just got all these veggies up in here. Yeah, I want to get a little bit of ginger root up in here. Just for that final little highlight. Okay, there's that. And I know it's looking rough, just have faith. We still have another pass through to do. Okay, stop there. Stop there. Probably should have not made that quite so small an area. That's okay though, it's fine. And I screwed up and colored in my highlight over here. That's okay. There we go. I'm just going to finish the feet off for the most part. There might be a little tiny bit of ginger root in there, but not a whole lot. Because these are underneath the pot, so they're not going to be very bright. Okay, get that. Alright, now the scariest part of this whole thing is this big area. Ooh. Oops, sorry guys. We're just not even centered. But at least I was in the frame for the most part. So we have that going for us. Okay. Just keep extending this out. This is where you have to start getting brave and just making decisions, and it's okay. Don't stress about it. Oops. Sorry guys, I think I keep moving it because it's more comfortable for me. But that's not fair to you guys, so. It just makes my hand hurt. Okay. Or my wrist. There we go. So I'm just going to lightly color this in because we will throw some of that ginger root in. Get some of our little highlights in here. There. Okay. Same up here. I need to get rid of some of this white. I don't want a whole lot. There. Okay. Now we'll take our ginger root and just see what happens. Ooh. Okay. That was a little bit too much. My bad. That's okay. So I don't know. Maybe this isn't gold, but I like it. Whatever it is. Maybe it is brass. Whatever. It works, okay? It works. So I am pressing pretty hard-ish with this ginger root. Kind of burnishing everything. Extend that down. Leave a little white area right there. And yes, I know there's no way for the highlight to be down there, but we're going to put one. Because it's my page. Y'all don't have to put one there. I'm just trying to show you a real life example of coloring something with these colors. I've used them before in pages, but you've never seen me actually color something with them. So here we are. There we go. All right. Ta-da! Okay. Now, again, I'm pressing very lightly now, and I'm just shrinking down these white areas ever so slightly because I don't want this to be too white, white, white. Okay. I'll probably be eating my words in a little bit, but oh well. So now I'm going to take my white and we're going to just come in here, pressing pretty hard, and just see what happens. Trying to get the top here because that's where the lightest area will be. And that's okay. Good, good. All right. Ooh, I kind of forgot here a little bit. So, I'm going to use the ginger root. And now I'm just going to come in with the white and do that. And then let's get our white here. We're pressing fairly-ish hard, just trying to blend that out. So while I'm here, I'm just going to take my artichoke and I'm very light pressure, just kind of zhuzhing it there. Let's get this part. Okay. And then we'll get right here. And then let's get right here. And then I'm going to sharpen my white. Okay. We're going to get right here. Ooh. Okay. Get down here. Just a little smidge. Oops, you know what? That should have been ginger root. Whoopsies. There we go. Alright, we just need this little part here in the middle. So we're blending and now we're extending out. I don't really know how to explain it. So we wanted the white to be, or the uncolored area to be a little smaller because we're using that and the white to blend out, and it makes it a little bit bigger. I hope that makes sense. So there's that. I don't know if it's right. I don't really care. It looks good to me and I'm happy. But what I do want to do is I'm going to do like I always do with my gold, and we're just going to come back through and make sure that we like how the white areas are. So I do want to tone them down just a bit. So I'm taking my ginger roots and I'm just being super light here and kind of blending out the white a little bit. I want you to see the white, but not as much. I'm actually pretty happy with that. I'm just like barely touching the paper here for that one. Same up here, just barely touching the paper. We're just trying to tone down the white a little tiny bit. Okay, and then the last thing I'll do just to get a little more contrast is I'm going to come back in with my sandbar brown, and I'm just going to kind of deepen up the darkest areas just a little bit. Just because I love me some contrast. So I'm pressing pretty lightly. Just shading a little bit. That's all we're doing here. I'm pressing a tad bit harder down here on the feet just because they're underneath the pot, so it's fine. Now I'm back to my light pressure. Get that in there, and then we're just going to get under here a little bit. Deepen this up just a smidge. Get this right here. Right there. Alright guys, we're going to call that done. So this was really easy. Well, I'd say really easy. Just 4 colors. Old gold, brass, whatever you want to call it. So we have that, and we have our new gold, shiny gold, whatever you want to call that. So we'll zoom out here. Here's our 2 examples side by side. And we went through these together, had a great time. Hopefully you guys learned something. And yeah, I hope this was helpful. That's all I'm trying to do, just because I know this is scary to some people. It was scary to me too, and just once you get used to it, the more you do it, the easier it gets. So I'm trying to encourage y'all to color metal more. It's actually really fun once you get used to it. Like, I look forward to coloring metal now. I used to hate it. I used to be scared of it and not want to do it, and I would put it off. But now I just embrace it and I love it because I've made it super simple for myself with only, you know, 4 to 5 colors plus the white. And yeah, if y'all have any questions, please comment. Let me know. I'd be happy to answer them to the best of my abilities. I'm not an expert, I'm not a professional, but I am more than happy to help answer any questions on what I'm doing. And please don't forget to like the video. That's also super helpful. Oh my gosh, words. Super helpful for Hollyberry colors. And yeah, if you can also hype the video, gosh, that's the most helpful thing. It means a lot to me. So yeah, and if you want to subscribe, if you're not subscribed, you'll get more awesome, amazing, crazy content like this. Although most of the time I just talk and do weird stuff, but yeah, sometimes I do somewhat helpful things like this. Okay, I'm gonna shut up and get off the camera because someone needs to take the camera away from me. I'm so sorry, guys. Y'all take care, okay? I will see you on the next one, and bye.